Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to Chris's Inked Pens for January 2025. I can't believe I'm saying that, but we're right at the doorstep here today. So I'm filming this Monday, January 30th, and I'm really happy because over the weekend I decided which 8 pens and which 8 fountain pen inks I'm going to write with for January. I've got a lot of correspondence to do and I've been journaling like mad crazy. So we'll go through the pens and then we will hop into my ink journal where I will write with each one and also share the ink tile for each one. So you can see what colors called to me for January. So first up is my brand new Christmas birthday pen, which is the Benu Euphoria in Vodka on the Rocks. And when we go to the library, I'm going to tell you what I am renaming this pen and why. So it's not that I'm offended by the name or anything like that, but I look at this pen and something else comes to mind immediately. So, and it has a book tie-in, so I'll let you guess until we get there. But I don't have a fever, honest. I'm getting better. But anyway, this has a broad nib, and we'll look at everything else, the ink and everything in a minute. And then next up is the TWSBI Diamond 580 Iris with a broad nib, which I was trying to fall asleep one night recently, and I woke right, I thought, why haven't I written with that pen? Oh my goodness, so anyway, the first, I made myself, where you run it through your mind, like, I'm going to remember, and I didn't get up and get it right then, but I remembered as soon as I woke up that, yeah, this is, the Diamond 580s aren't my favorite. I tend to navigate toward the Ecos, but this one has a great nib, and I do really like this one. So, yeah, the broad nib on this one is perfect for me. So, okay, then next up is the Narwhal Original Plus, and oh gosh, I think it's gold. I can't remember the colorway, but I will look that up for you. And this has a broad nib as well. It is a vac filler. And I'm not completely comfortable with vac fillers, but I love how this one writes. So there's no way that I'm going to give up on it. I'm going to keep on using it because actually what I did was take a section off and refill it that way because I just wasn't having good luck getting a nice full fill. So, I mean, that's easy enough to do, and a viewer pointed that out to me, so thank you, because I love how this one writes. Okay, then next up is my Hongdian Black Forest with a Fude nib in purple. And, the big draw for me with this is the Fude nib. I love it. I love how it writes. It has an extremely broad brushstroke type line, and I just, my writing's big, and I actually like it for letter writing and for journaling in my process journal too. I can make big squares around things that I like, quotes or things that I want to highlight. So I remembered that I wanted to write with a Fude nib. I'm actually looking at the Jinhao 82s. Someone mentioned somewhere that they now come with a Fude nib, and so that's something on my wish list now. Okay, then next up is the Kaweco Brass Sport, which it was, there was a gift to the channel of a Appelboom gift certificate, and that's when I got this pen. This actually has a double broad on it, and I kind of am more happy with it when I write with it not posted, because it is just so heavy when it's posted, but I have little tiny hands, or medium hands, so I can write with it without posting it. So, and it's patinaed, and when I was a little girl, I used to polish a bunch of things for Dad that were brass, with Brasso. So I don't know. I guess it's probably part of the charm to let it just go. But for some reason, I like brass polished. I don't know. It's something from childhood, I guess. So next up is the Opus 88 Demonstrator that I got from Stylo and Styles in Italy. And this has a broad nib on it. It's an eyedropper pen. And I just really love how it writes, and this was another case of why is that pen not inked up, over the time that I spent recouping from being sick. I started thinking about all these pens that I haven't written with for a while. So anyway, this was one of them, and I love it, and I like to put teal ink in it for some reason, so that's what I've done. but we'll look at that in a minute. And then this one, this is an old favorite too. This is the Nemosine Singularity. I think the colorway is Coral or Coral something. And I do have a broad goulet nib on it. Just a really fun writer. Super lightweight, which is something that I like. And it just, gosh, even the fine nib that came on it is great. But I prefer a broad nib for letter writing. And that's what I've got to do. I've got to catch up on my correspondence. I started doing that over the weekend, and I think I've got written 3, you know, letters and thank you and that kind of thing. So last but not least, I just couldn't leave out my other favorite, my Benu Euphoria Pink Champagne. That's from Goldspot. It's an exclusive from them, and it's got a broad nib on it. And this was bought with channel funds, so thank you, everybody who watches and, you know, has contributed to this. And I have a new Van Dieman's ink, new to me, ink in here. So I'm excited to show you that. So these are the 8 pens, and let's dive right into the ink journal now, and we will see how they write. Okay, for my first pen for the Benu Euphoria Vodka on the Rocks, I put my favorite ink, which is Pilot Iroshizuku Azalea, which I got a bottle for Christmas, birthday Christmas, because everything was combined this year since I had such expensive taste. They are discontinuing this, but I'm really excited that I got a bottle of it before I couldn't find any, so that was wonderful. So here we go with a broad nib. Oh, it's just so juicy, and I love it. Okay, so Benu. I remembered to clean this one before I filled it up. Euphoria. Okay, I'm going to put vodka on the rocks. Okay, we'll do it that way, like on a little abbreviation, but then I've got to remember, I'll take this pen with me to remind me about my rename for the pen. Broad nib, and this is Pilot. I'm going to call it Azalea, since I can't really pronounce the Japanese name for it anyway. I love it. It's a beautiful pink, beautiful magenta, lovely ink. It's just going to be wonderful for letter writing and journaling, and it works really well in CVS caliber paper, which is that's where I do all my like real hardcore journaling processing and writing. So I'm excited to have a pen that I really like looking at too for that. Okay, next up, I kind of went away from my traditional, and I put Jbon Sapphire de Lune, which is a kind of a dark purple. And I'm not sure, but what it may have distorted a little since I last wrote with it. It's in a little bottle. But let's take a look. So this is the Diamond 580, TWSBI Diamond 580 Iris with a broad nib. And when I just jotted a little, okay, no, I guess that might have been my eyes or maybe the lighting yesterday. It does look a little plum to me, a little bit different, but we'll work with it a while to see. So TWSBI Diamond 580 Iris with a broad nib with Jbon. I have this tiny little bottle of this. Let's see. I think it's 10 mil. Actually, they're a really good size because it's like having a really, really cool sample, like a large sample. But every once in a while, I'll get one of those like this that I kind of do want the 30 or 50 mil bottle of. So, but it's so silly because I have so much ink. And that's a subject for another video too, because I've got to have a little meeting about that with y'all. But okay, so that's going to be lovely. It is lovely. It's a beautiful purple. Okay, then next up, this has already been tried and true. So Sailor Grenade is what I put, Sailor Jentle Grenade, I put into this Narwhal. I don't even remember what I called it when I first, oh well, that's because I don't remember. Original Plus with the broad nib. It's either gold or gold something is the colorway. I just love how this ink behaves in this pen. And there is another pen, the little Mont Blanc that I have that was gifted to me also loves this ink. Like the nib on it just really loves it. It's a great ink, and it works good in lots of pens, but then there's some where you just say, oh, I've got to have that in there all the time. So Narwhal, Original Plus, with a broad nib. And I'm just going to make a little question mark because of the color. I'll come back in with that when I find it on the inventory. This is Sailor Jentle Grenade. Super, super nice. You know, I see it as red. I guess it's got a lot of pink in it, but I kind of see it in my writing as red, and I'm going to enjoy it a lot, I'm sure. Okay, then in that little Hongdian Fude nib, the Black Forest, I have Pilot Iroshizuku Murasaki Shikibu, which, let's see, I have a little bottle of that. I don't have, this isn't the right one, but this is the size bottle I have. And it's one of the few that I haven't yet gotten a big bottle of. So I have a gift certificate to, that was given by a generous viewer that I'm thinking about getting a full bottle of this because it's just a standard in my, I love this ink. Okay, and I love how this one, you know, puts down the ink so nicely. I mean, it's just a really inexpensive pen, but it hits way above its pay grade. So Hongdian Black Forest, I think is the name of the model. And Fude, and of course purple. I have two of these. I have a rainbow one, and then I have this purple one. Pilot Murasaki Shikibu. And you can see how nice and large and brush-like the letters look. And so I really have fun with this one. Okay, so then next up is my favorite of all time brown ink, which is Sailor 50 States, Texas. And I did put it in the little Kaweco Brass Sport. And it's got a little converter in it. That's how I'm using it. And I'm not going to post it because I just don't like it posted. It's heavy. But I do love the pen. And the nib is fantastic. So, Kaweco Brass Sport. Double broad. That makes it just right up my alley. With Sailor 50 States, Texas. You can see that I really have set myself up for writing letters mainly because I've got a couple other pens with gray ink for my bullet journal that I'm just going to continue writing with for, you know, until they run dry. Like I'm using Pilot Old Man Winter in my bullet journal right now just until it's gone. And I'm not going to fuss. I'm just going to continue to use those up. But these are the ones for my writing desk. So, okay, so this one is in the Opus 88 Demonstrator from Italy there, from Stylo and Stile. Oh, I was trying to make an S on the end of that. I bet I'm not saying it right, because if without an index card to help prompt me, I can't do it, I guess. But this is the Pilot Iroshizuku Syo-ro. Anyway, it's a beautiful, I'm seeing it as teal. And I have that ink also in this size. But I've got a lot of teal ink, so I'm not after a bottle of that. I'm just enjoying that smaller one. Gosh, that's coming out really blue. Huh, that's okay. I don't mind. So Opus 88, it holds like almost 3 mil of ink. So Demonstrator. We'll put S&S with a broad nib. Yeah. Oh, that's odd. I'm not sure if that's the nib that came on it. I think it is, but it's got an odd, it doesn't look like the others. Oh well, I'll have to look and see what I did there. So Pilot Iroshizuku. Oh, I didn't even do that up here. Syo-ro. Oh, so nice. I'm going to have nice, juicy, you know, writing. Nice broad nibs for the writing. Okay, then the next one, I just had to make the tile. It's still drying. Because for some reason, I just couldn't find my tile of this, and this is another one where I've got it in a little bottle like this. I think I left it by the sink. Oh no. Yeah, it's just in a little 10 ml bottle. So this is Jbon, I guess it's Sapphire, but it's got the probably French name, and I don't want to mangle it. So I've got that in the Nemosine Singularity with a broad goulet nib. And I think this is the coral finish. This is gorgeous. This was a pen friend gift a long time ago. And so was this one. The Narwhal was also a gift. This is, yeah, I'm going to put the little attributions in the description because I don't want to mangle everything. I know very well who gave me this one. And so here we go. Beautiful color. It's kind of, I mean, the way I'm seeing it almost blurple. I mean, I want to say blue, but then, it's interesting how it looks to me. Nemosine Singularity. Yeah, I don't post this one either, although I could. This one's light enough to really post, no problem. Coral with a broad nib. Jbon. Eclat, Sapphire. Saphir. Okay. Let's not mangle things, Chris. And again, just everything that I chose is just geared for me to pick up any of these pens and be excited about how they flow. Like they're gonna be like a fire hose on the page, and I'm gonna be really happy. So now the next one, this is actually a new to me ink that came in as a little present from Pen Friend, and it's Van Dieman's Auora Australis. I showed the bottles on the last video. So this is the Benu Euphoria in Pink Champagne from Goldspot with a broad nib. I don't post these either. I don't need to. They're perfectly good. So this is interesting because when you look at it here, you see pink, right? And pinky purple with a lot of green sheen on the top. So I'm really excited to see how that's going to play out in letters, whether it's going to... the only writing I've really done is just to get them down so I could see, and I did see a little bit of green sheen on here. So it reminds me a lot of Krishna Winter, actually. But that's just offhand memory, may not be accurate, but it reminds me of that. So Benu Euphoria, Pink Champagne. I have not renamed this one. Nothing comes to mind. Broad, even though it has a liquor name or whatever. Okay. But you'll understand once I talk about this one. I mean, you know, I can't help it. Okay. Hopefully I can find the book. Okay, so what am I doing? Van Dieman's. This was from Pen Friend JD, and I really like this ink. It seems to flow really well. It doesn't seem dry in this broad nib, so I'm excited. Auora Australis. I almost think I've seen this in writing before, and it could be a pen friend has written with it. I'm not sure. But because the name is familiar, so I've either looked at it somewhere or I've seen it in actual writing. So, you know, even though it's not an exact match, this is the pen that came to mind for it. So, okay, let's switch the shot real quick. So this is my starting point, and everybody that knows me knows that I usually end up with quite a few more inked up, but it could be that, you know, I've got pretty good fills in these. This one may have to be refilled because the little Kaweco converters don't hold much ink, but everything else is a good full fill with, you know, converter, piston, vacuum fill, converter, tiny converter, a great big, you know, this teal ink will last me a couple months probably, and then another two converter pens. So it's going to be plenty of ink for letter writing and journaling, and then I'll finish up my TWSBI Ecos that I have. I've cleaned like a dozen or more pens during December, and I have more that need to be written dry. So I'm keeping them all in a rickshaw case and carrying it around with me. That way I use up all the ink. I don't like to waste ink unless it's necessary. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and lay these cards out so we can kind of look at the color palette. There. Okay, I like to do this because I kind of like to see, what did I do? What did I choose? Well, I got two purples, a bright one, or kind of a soft bright, and then a darker purple. And then I guess you could say I got two pinks, although I see Sailor Grenade more as a red in my own mind, but kind of looks pink too. And then, of course, the Azalea is definitely pink, magenta, you know, goodness. And then we got brown, we got teal, we got I guess we'll go with blue for this. And, I don't see this as pink, really. I kind of see it as a cross between pink and purple, but it is a pink. It definitely reminds me of that little, I'm looking for the bottle, but what's the use? I should have looked for the tile. Hold on, let me see if I can find that one. Oh, this is really funny because this is what memory is. It's not accurate. So this is Krishna Winter, much more pinker, but it does have that sheen, and there may be another one. There may be something else I'm thinking of. Maybe Vinta Mekopa, maybe. Let's see. I wonder how hard that would be to find. Probably impossible. Let's see. Oh no, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. It was right on top. Okay, Vinta Mekopa is definitely more in the magenta range. Definitely not as soft, but that may be the one that I was really thinking of. Because if you look at that, it's closer than Krishna Winter, which is much more pink. But what fun. I mean, there's nothing I love more than comparing inks and, you know, kind of beginning to see how they work together. Now, here's a couple more Van Dieman's. I have a bottle of Van Dieman's Maryland Shimmer. Huh. Okay, there's two of the same one. Okay, so maybe they look different and I kept going making the tiles. But anyway, we'll compare with this one. This is much pinker. Well, you know, but again, they both kind of talk to me as a pink purple, so that'll be a lot of fun to explore a brand new ink. I don't have a lot of Van Dieman's. I have some samples. The pen friend, oh, why am I not thinking of her first name when I know it? MB used to send a whole bunch. She has a channel and everything. Good Lord. I guess I really am. I have too much crammed in my brain. She used to send samples of Van Dieman's, but I have now a total of 3 bottles by them. I love their inks, but I've mainly been exploring samples. So, okay. I think we will grab the pen that has been renamed and head on to the library. Okay, so here I am in the library with the pen so that I won't forget to tell you what I've renamed it. And I have actually renamed this pen Edward because it's a long story. And just to let you know, I am a fan of escape fiction and I am a Twilight fan. And during Christmas Day, believe it or not, we were both really sick, Manuel and I, and, you know, we were sort of on the mend, but nobody could come over, we couldn't go anywhere, and he found on TV the Twilight movies, and, I mean, it was some channel that was streaming free or something, and we have the DVDs, but I said, well, I could get the DVDs if you want to watch them, and then you don't have to have commercials, and he said, no, let's just let them run like that, and I thought, yeah, I mean, I agreed with it because I didn't feel good anyway, and I thought, you know, we wouldn't argue over a movie or try to, you know, labor over it. We'd just watch them, and I wondered kind of how it would be because it's been years since I read the books and since I watched the movies. And it was really fun because this is what happened. Well, first of all, I had just opened the pen and, you know, we didn't get in the first movie right where it started or anything. And there's a scene where he shows her how he sparkles in the sun, you know. So, okay, just you know, just realized that this was years ago that I first discovered Twilight. Right before the movie came out, I read the first book, and I was in a job that I really needed the escape fiction. Trust me, I needed it. So I still remember when I first read that book, and things were different then. You know, certain people in the family were still alive, and it's weird how the memories of a book and reading it the first time and all of that kind of I don't know, it overlays. And so I was remembering, I used to walk down the street to this job, you know, and I was a companion caregiver for a woman with Down syndrome who lived at home, and her mother had Alzheimer's, and there was a staff of caregivers coming in for her. But my job was to drive this girl, you know, from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, Monday through Friday, wherever they needed to go for appointments, she wanted to go to the bookstore all the time. Now, I still remember when I purchased this book, she was really frustrated with me because, you know, she said, I thought you liked real books, like classics like me. And I said, I do, but I'm really intrigued by this book. And I really, like, I like Dracula, I told her, and she said, well, yeah, that's a real book. And it was so funny. You know, how many memories came back to me watching those movies? Because, of course, the movies weren't... I read the first book first, and then we went to see the movie, and Manuel ended up liking it, too. So, anyway, but opening the pen and realizing that the color almost... except for that there is a little bit more color. I think it would, if it was just completely just silver, it would maybe be named better. But okay, I know I'm silly, but we really did end up enjoying that. And we didn't sit there and just watch every scene of all of those 5 movies, because there's 5. I think the last book had 2 movies, but it played throughout the entire day. It was just sort of there, and there were times when we were laughing, you know, at some of the scenes, and you know, I don't think we're going to forget our COVID Christmas watching all the Twilight movies. We didn't really, like, it wasn't something where we said, okay, let's do this. It just, he was scrolling, and we sometimes can't find what we both want to see, but we definitely wanted to be in the same room together all day, and, you know, so anyway, it was just a weird, you know, kind of an intersection. So I guess you can probably tell that I do feel better. I've still got a lot of nasal congestion, but the last 2 days I started to realize that it's getting better. I also have expelled quite a bit of you know, of that congestion. So I'm hoping that it'll clear up on its own. Today is 2 weeks exactly since I got the first positive test, and I did test negative on Christmas night. So that was cool. Just trying to get this behind me because there's a lot to do. January is going to be really busy. I think I want to keep this kind of short because I've already, you know, gone so long with the pens, inks, and the tiles and all that, and the renaming of my Benu. I love their pens. I want to say that I won't be buying pens this year. I probably won't, but then I wouldn't put that as a firm, because if there was opportunities, yeah, I would be looking at the Benu pens. You know, but carefully, because I have a lot of budget considerations this year too. So I'll keep this one short because I still want to do my December pen chat. And that would be a little bit better for those who like that kind of thing, not to feel hostage to it in this video. So I'll let you go for now, but I will ask, what are you going to be writing with in January? Have you chosen your pens and inks? And do you have specific tasks? I'm doing a lot of bullet journaling. I'm trying to really work harder to be more organized. And there's so much to do for what I'd call my mom's case and all of that, I need to be super organized. I need to make sure that I don't let anything drop. And it's, so the bullet journaling and the process journaling, which I'm getting ready to go back and see my counselor again, which I'm feeling good about. I'm going before before anything would get too bad. So this is really good. And all kinds of letter writing. And that's what these 8 pens that I just showed you in inks, that's what that's primarily about, is you know, enjoying that ongoing correspondence with many of you, and writing thank yous, because thank you so much for everything. It's kind of a haze, a blur of 2 weeks, the past 2 weeks. You know, the fever kind of lifted after a week or so, but then, you know, some of the symptoms just kind of lingered, and it's the first time either of us has been hit with this, so we didn't, we were just kind of shocked to get it so late in the game, and glad that it didn't interfere with some of the things like the eye surgery for my sister-in-law and things like that, you know, and goodness, it could have been really bad timing. So, okay, we've gone to 30 minutes and I'm going to close for now, but I'm excited to, you know, continue to have these conversations and to try to get my channel up and running again, because I had to let things drop for a while there. I really didn't feel good. But I'm on the mend, and I hope you're safe and well and healthy too, and having fun with your hobby. So I'll see you on the next one, and thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.